The chapter next is the administrative relations in general. Article 256 is the obligation of states and the union, and Article 257 control of the union over states in certain cases. Article 257A repealed. Article 258 power of the union to confer powers etc. on states in certain cases. Article 258A power of the states to entrust function to the union. Article 259 repealed. Article 260 jurisdiction of the union in relation to territories outside India. Article 261 public acts, records and judicial proceedings. Disputes relating to waters. Article 262 at jurisdiction of the disputes of relating to waters of inner states, rivers or river valleys. Coordination between states. Article 263 provision with respect to an interstate council. Part 11 finance, property, contracts and suits. Chapter 1 finance. Article 2 general. Article 264 interpretation. Article 265 taxes not to be imposed save by the authority of law. Article 266 consolidated funds and public accounts of India and the states. Article 267 contingency fund, distribution of revenues between the union and the states. Article 266 duties levied by union but collected and appropriated by the states. Article 269 tax levied and collected by the union but assigned to the states. Article 273 taxes levied and distributed between the union and the states. Article 271 surcharge on certain duties and taxes for purpose of the union. Article 272 repealed. uh, prior recommendation of president required to bills affecting taxation in which states are interested. Article 273 grants in lieu of export duty on jute and jute products. Article 274 prior recommendation of president required to bills affecting taxation in which states are interested. Article 275 grants from the union to certain states. Article 276 taxes on profession, trades, calling and the employments. Article 277 savings. Article 277 repeal. Article 279 calculation of the net proceeds etc. Article 280 finance commission. Article 281 recommendation of the finance commission, miscellaneous financial provisions. Article 282 expenditure deferable by the union or state out of the revenues. Article 243 custody etc. of the consolidated funds, contingency fund and monies credited to the public accounts. Article 284 custody of suits, deposit and other monies received by public servants and courts. Article 285 exemption of property of the union from the state taxation. Article 286 restriction as to imposition of tax on sale or purchase of goods. Article 287 exemption from taxes on electricity. Article 286 exemption of taxation by states in respect of water or electricity in the certain cases. Article 289 exemption of property and increase of states from the union taxation. Article 290 adjustment in respect of certain expenses and pension. Article 290A annual payment to certain diverse sum fund. Article 291 repealed. Next, chapter 2 borrowing. Article 292 borrowing by the government of India. Article 293 borrowing by the states. Chapter 3 property, contracts, rights, liabilities, obligation and suits. Article 294 succession to property, assets, rights, liabilities and obligation in certain cases. Article 295 succession to property, assets, rights, liabilities and obligation in other cases. Article 296 property acquiring by estate or lapse as is a bona vacation. Article 297 things of value within territorial waters or continental ships and resources of the exclusive economic zone to based in the union. Article 298 power to carry on trade etc. Article 299 contracts. Article 300 suits and proceedings. Chapter 4 right to property. Article 300A person not to be deprived of property save by the authority of law. Part 13 trade, commerce and intercourse within the territory of India. Article 301 freedom of trade, commerce and intercourse. Article 302 power of parliament to impose restriction on trade, commerce and intercourse. Article 303 restriction on the legislation power of the union and of the states with regard to trade and commerce. Article 304 restriction on trade, commerce and intercourse among states. Article 305 saving of existing laws and laws providing for state and monopolies. Article 306 repealed. Article 307 appointment of the authority for carrying out the purpose of Article 301 and 304. Part 14 services under the union and the states. Chapter 1 services. Article 308 interpretation. Article 309 recruitment and condition of the serving the union on state. Article 311 dismissal, removal or reduction in rank of persons employed in civil capacities under the union or state. Article 312 all India services. Article 312A power of parliament to vary or revoke conditions of the service of officers of certain services. Article 313 transitional provision. Article 314 repeal. Chapter 3 Public Service Commission. Article 315 Public Service Commission for Union and for the states. Article 316 appointment and term of office of members. Article 317 removal and suspension of a member of a Public Service Commission. Article 318 power to make regulation as to conditions of service to members and staff of the commission. Article 319 provision as to holding the offices by members of commission on carrying to be such numbers. Article 320 function of the Public Service Commission. Article 321 power to extend function of Public Service Commission. Article 322 expenses of Public Service Commission. Article 323 reports of the Public Service Commission. Part 14A tribunals. Article 323A administrative tribunals. Article 323B tribunals for other matters. Part 15 elections. 324 superintendent's direction and control of elections to be vested in the election commissions. 325 no pensions to be eligible for inclusion in or to claim to be included in special electoral roll or grounds of religion, race, caste or sex. Article 326 election to the house of the people and to the legislative assemblies of the state to be the basis of adult suffrage. Article 327 power of parliament to make provision with respect to election to legislature. Article 328 power of legislature of the state to make provision with respect to election to a such legislature. Article 329 bar to inference by courts in electoral matters. 329A repeal. Article XVI or Article 16 special provision related to certain classes. Article 330 reservation of seats for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in the House of People. Article 331 representation of the Anglo-Indian community in the House of the People. Article 332 reservation of seats for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in the legislative assemblies of the states. Article 333 representation of the Anglo-Indian community in the legislative assemblies of the states. Article 334 reservation of seats and special to case after the 60 years. Article 335 claims of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes to services and post. Article 336 special permission for Anglo-Indian committee in certain services. Article 337 special provision respect to educational grants for the benefit of Anglo-Indian community. Article 338 National Commission for Scheduled Caste. Article 338A National Commission for Scheduled Tribes. Article 339 Control of the Union over the administrative of the scheduled areas and the welfare of the scheduled tribes. Article 340 Appointment of Commission to investigate condition of the backward classes. Article 341 Scheduled Caste. Article 342 Scheduled Tribes. Part 17 Official Language. Chapter 1 Language of the Union. Article 343 Official Language of the Union. Article 344 Commission and Committee of Parliament on Official Language. Chapter 2 Regional Language. Article 345 Official Language or a Language of State and the Union. Article 346 Official Language for communication between one state or between state in the Union. Article 347 Special Permission related to language spoken by the section of the population of the state. Chapter 2 Language of the Supreme Supreme Court, High Courts, etc. 348 language to be used in the Supreme Court and the High Courts for the acts, bill, etc. 349 special procedure for enactment of certain laws relating to language. Chapter 4 special directives. 350 language to be used in the representation of redresses of grievances. Article 350A facilities for instruction in mother tongue of primary state. Article 350B special officer for linguistic minorities. Article 51 directive for the development of the Hindi language. Part 18 emergency provision. Article 352 proclamation of the emergency. Article 353 effect of proclamation of emergency. Article 354 application of provision relating to distribution of revenues while a proclamation of energy is to be operation. 355 duty of union to protect states against external aggression and internal disturbance. Article 356 provision in case of failure of constitutional machinery in states. 357 exercise of legislative power under proclamation issued under the Article 356. 358 suspension of provision of Article 19 during emergencies. Article 359 suspension of enforcement of the rights conferred by the Part 3 during emergencies. Article 359A repealed. Article 360 provision as to financial emergency. Part 19 miscellaneous. 361 protection of president and governors and Raj products. Article 361A protection of publication of proceedings of parliament and state legislature. Article 361B disqualification for appointment on renanity political. Article 366 repealed. Article 366(3) bar to interference by court in dispute arising out of certain traits, argument, etc. Article 368A recognition granted to rules in Indian state to case and private purses to be abolished. Article 366 special provision as to major ports and aerodromes. Article 365 effect to failure comply with and to give effect to direction given by the union. Article 366 definition. Article 367 interpretation. Part 20 amendment of the constitution. Article 368 power of parliament to amend the constitution and procedure therefore. Part 21 temporary, transitional and special provision. Article 369 temporary power to parliament to make laws with the respect of certain matters in the state list if they were matters in the concurrent list. Article 370 temporary provision with respect to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Article 361 special provision with respect to the state of Nagaland. Article 371B special provision with respect to the state of Assam. Article 371C special provision with respect to the state of Manipur. Article 361D special provision with respect to the state of Andhra Pradesh. Article 371E establishment of control University of Andhra Pradesh. 371A special provision with respect to the state of Sikkim. Article 371G special provision with respect to the state of Mizoram. Article 371H special provision with respect to the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Article 371(1) special provision with respect to the state of Goa. Article 372 continuance in force of existing laws and their adaptation. Article 372A power of the president to adapt laws. Article 373 power of the president to make order in respect of person under preventive detention in certain cases. And Article 374 provision as to judge the federal court or before the magistrate of council. Article 375 courts, authorities and officers to continue the function subject to the provision of the constitution. Article 376 provision as to judges of the high court. Article 377 provision as to the controller and auditor general of India. Article 378 provision as to public service commission. Article 378A special provision as to duration of Andhra Pradesh legislative assembly. Article 379 to 391 392 power of the president to remove difficulties. Article 20 22 short title commencement authoritative text in Hindi and repeals. Article 393 short title. Article 394 commencement. Article 394A authoritative text in the Hindi language. Article 395 repealed. Indian Constitution parts and article. Original Indian Constitution had 2 parts and 395 articles. Later 3 parts were added to it as the amendment 19A municipalities and 9B cooperative societies and 14A tribunals. Various articles were also added under the 25 parts Indian Constitution and the amendment. At present, total article count is to around 444. I will add the later articles as I have know that some also laws passed by the parliament, and thereafter I will add it on after this. And overview of the Indian Constitution parts and article is provided in this post. Take the best out of it. Parts of Constitution 22 plus 3 25. 20 parts of the Indian Constitution along with the subject and articles they cover the given below. Thank you.